My name is Jesse Torres. I'm the State Small Business Advocate with GO-Biz. I'm excited about today's webinar, which is about the California Small Business Loan Guarantee Program. As you know, for many small business owners, many still have challenges in accessing capital. Within our shop, the Office of Small Business Advocate, we have a number of different programs that help small business owners attain capital. But we're excited to have our partners with the iBank here to tell more about their program and how they help small businesses access capital. Today's webinar features Nancy Trombley, who is the iBank's Chief Deputy Executive Director and Chief Compliance Officer. It's a pleasure to have her here with us. But before we begin, we're going to have Janelle Green, who's our GO-Biz Small Business Specialist, who will introduce to you some of the features of the GoToWebinar, the platform we're using today. So let me hand it over to Janelle.
Thank you, Jesse. At the far right of your screen, you should see a vertical toolbar. This toolbar will provide you with access to the audio and visual for the presentation. If you experience any technical audio issues, please click Help at the top of the toolbar and then select Sound Check. This will allow you to check your audio configuration. Participant lines will remain muted during the entire presentation. If you have a question during the webinar, please submit it during the presentation via the Questions chat box. The Questions chat box is located in the middle of your toolbar. GO-Biz staff will respond to questions during the Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Also at the top left of the toolbar, you will see two icons. The blue icon with a white box allows you to view the presentation in full screen mode. The blue icon with a picture of a hand allows you to raise your hand to ask questions during the webinar. This feature will not be used since questions will be addressed at the end of the webinar via the Questions chat box. Also, the slides and audio of this presentation will be posted to the GO-Biz website. We will notify all registrants by email once they are posted. I will now turn the presentation over to our presenter, Nancy Trombley. Welcome and thank you for being here.
Great, thanks Janelle. Hi everyone, it's a pleasure to be here and talk about something that I love, which is helping small businesses. And I want to thank Jesse and GO-Biz for having me. I'm so glad you could be on the line. I really appreciate your time and hope that with this webinar we have something of value to offer to you today. So as Jesse said, I'm Nancy Trombley, and I work for the California Infrastructure and Economic Development Bank, which we fondly call iBank. We offer a variety of public finance services at iBank, but today we're just going to talk about our Small Business Finance Center and the programs that we offer under that center. For my personal background, I was a community banker for about 30 years in my previous life. I call myself a recovering banker now. And as a public servant, what I try to do at this point is help community bankers out there see the benefit to making small business loans to small businesses. And on the behalf of the state, in my role here, what I can do is offer them an incentive to do so. So some of you might be on the webinar today because you've experienced barriers to gaining capital access. We acknowledge that this is a real challenge, and that's why our state programs that we've created are meant to address that. Many large commercial banks don't make loans to small businesses, but what those large banks can do is they can either gift money or they can loan money to smaller community banks or to certified community development financial institutions, which are called CDFIs, and then those banks can make the smaller loans. So those are the types of lenders that we here at iBank focus on, are those community banks and CDFIs. And then the state offers guarantees on the loans that they can make as an incentive to those lenders to make loans to small businesses. So it's our mission here to help small businesses gain access to capital. And through this presentation, hopefully I'm going to be able to show you if this program will work for you. So the state has a small business loan guarantee program, and it's been around for almost 50 years. And during that 50 years, we've made about 30,000 guarantees to small business lenders. In 2011, the federal government gave us some additional funding, and it was through the Jobs Act of 2010 that created the State Small Business Credit Initiative, which we call the SSBCI. So since 2011, we've been making loans through this particular program. We've made about 1,000 loans for $400 million. And when we first started it, we thought it was going to be a big challenge, because we heard from lenders, nobody's borrowing, and then we heard from borrowers, nobody's lending. So that was one of the challenges that we had, was to figure out how to let borrowers know, yeah, there are banks out there that are lending. So hopefully these statistics that I've given you will let you know that there are lenders out there that can do this. The federal government, one of the reasons that they gave us this funding was because they recognize that small businesses are a really important part of our economy. And this slide shows that 64% of all new jobs in the private sector are being created by small businesses. And then 49% of all of the private sector employment is due to small business activity. And small businesses account for 33% of our nation's export value. So now I'm going to share with you how we can bridge the gap between you and accessing capital. So we use financial development corporations that we call FDCs as our agent at the state. Now these FDCs are nonprofit organizations, and what they do is they're the connection between iBank, who's basically the keeper of the money, and the credit unions and the banks and the CDFIs out there that are making loans to small businesses. And they do that by issuing a guarantee for up to 80%. So they have this huge network of lenders that are familiar with our programs and are more likely to offer a loan to a small business that's having trouble getting loans through conventional financing. So we have 9 of those FDCs throughout the state that work with us. And this is a map that just kind of shows you where each of those FDCs are located throughout the state. However, any FDC within the state can make a loan to any small business that does business in California. I'll talk to you a little bit about the FTC Resources, because they do a lot more than just the loan guarantees. So they have a lot of resources that can help you as a small business. First, there's California Capital. And California Capital is located in Sacramento, and one of the great things that California Capital has, among other things, is a women's business center. And they offer business education, and they can also connect you to resources. California Capital has an event calendar up on their website, and it looks like their next event is May 24th, and they'll be doing a conference on financing with the SBA, and then it looks like later they also have a podcast on Business Owners Mastermind. California Coastal is the FTC that's located in Salinas, and they offer a variety of programs. As you can see, along with the loan guarantee program, they have direct farm loans, microloan projects, which means they can make the smaller loans, whereas the larger banks that we were talking about earlier are more focused on very large loans, whereas these FDCs can do smaller loans. There's actually no minimum on a loan guarantee. California Southern is in San Diego. They have a variety of programs, as well as Hancock, Small Business FDC. Hancock is in Los Angeles. NorCal FTC is in Oakland, and NorCal not only has microloan programs, but they also have some grant programs. All the FTCs that I'm talking about, you can locate on the website. We have the links on this page, and of course it'll be posted afterward. Small Business Financial Development Corporation of Orange County is located in Santa Ana. And you can see that they also have a lot of programs. They have a metal plating facility and replacement of underground storage tank. We call that our REST program. And Orange County has recently done quite a few nonprofit small business loans as well. Also in Los Angeles is Pacific Coast Regional. Pacific Coast Regional has a beautiful education center at their location, and they do entrepreneurial training. And they also have a really neat project down there where they're building the metro, and it's displaced a bunch of small businesses in that area and taken away from their revenue because of the construction. And they have a great program down there to help those businesses. PCR also has an event calendar up. It looks like their next one is May 23rd, where they're doing a new client orientation. And on the 24th, a business strategy basics class. Safe Bidco is located in Santa Rosa. Safe Bidco has a variety of loans, loan products, also their Northern California Native American loan program, where they specifically encourage community economic development and job creation for Northern California, providing financing to for Indian-owned small businesses on or off reservation property. And then Valley Small Business Development Corporation is located in Fresno, serving the Central Valley, and they're best known for their agriculture loans and their farm loans. And they also have an agriculture, dairy, and rural development van. It's a pretty cool van. What they do is they take the lenders out to the borrowers in rural areas. So, you know, the farming community that has trouble actually getting into the city, they go out there and they provide education for small businesses, and they'll go out and drive right up to the farm and have them fill out their applications and sign their loan documents mobily. So that's a great product. So that was an introduction to the actual FDCs that are out there. There are boots on the ground. They're the ones that are connecting you as a small business straight to that lender that they know will have the product that you're looking for. So let's talk about how our small business loan guarantee program might be able to help you. So the loans that we make in this program are up to $20 million. That would be the loan size. And again, there's no minimum. And that would include term loans and lines of credit. The guarantee can be up to 80% of the loan. It doesn't have to be. It can be a lower amount of the guarantee. It just depends on what the lender and the FDC need from you. The maximum guarantee is $2.5 million. There is a fee for this type of business. The loan guarantee program assumes that the small business borrower cannot get a loan at a conventional bank. So the fees are probably very comparable to what a commercial bank would charge for the same type of a loan. The term of the loan can be as long as you need the term of the loan to be and whatever you negotiate with your lender, but the guarantee can only be for up to 7 years. And all of these factors are items that the lender takes into consideration when they're considering making a loan to you. Is, how good of a guarantee are they going to be able to get on the loan? All of the loan qualifications and the rates that are charged, one of the questions I usually get is, what's the interest rate on these type of loans? And I really can't say, because each lender has their own particular lending criteria, and they also have their own set of rates. The rates are negotiable between the borrower and the actual lender. To be eligible as a small business, a business entity has to have 750 employees or less, and you need to be doing business in the state of California with, and how we determine that is, do you have an office in California? Yeah, are your taxes paid here? and or do you have some type of a physical presence? So your main office could be in Nevada, as long as the use of the funds for the loans is being used in the state of California. The 750 employees includes the employees for the actual business that is requesting the loan, and also its affiliates. And again, the loan proceeds need to be made in the state, or used in the state of California. Some of the types of loans that we do, these are the most common, are business acquisitions. And it says there, except for goodwill. So goodwill would be like if you're buying somebody else's business and you're also purchasing their name. So a franchise. It's okay to purchase a franchise, but we just wouldn't be able to guarantee the portion of that franchise that has to do with the goodwill. You could do new construction, tenant improvements, inventory receivables, any type of loan that's meant to expand your business or purchase equipment. We do working capital lines of credit, startup costs. We also do some gap financing. So if you're looking at a 504 SBA loan, and there's always that a gap. There's a gap between the time that you actually get that SBA loan, but you might need some funds before that gap. We can do that type of financing, and also export financing. So I'm going to go through the steps of how this loan guarantee process works. So if you're a small business and you're in need of a loan and you're thinking, after everything that I've told you that this product might work for you, you could do one of two things. You could either contact one of the FTCs that we spoke of, and they can help connect you to a lender. Or if you already have a lender that you're working with, you can have the lender connect them to the FTC. And if your particular lender isn't part of the program yet, they can work with that FTC to become part of the program. So once you, let's say you approach an FTC, that FTC is going to decide, they're going to look at your loan package. They may have to work with you on some technical assistance. They can help you, if you're a startup, they can help you come up with a business plan. And then they'll connect you to the lender that they know is best suited for the loan. A lot of these FTCs have been out there for the same amount of time that our program has, so some of them have been doing this type of business for 50 years, and they are very familiar with what type of loan fits what type of lender the best. And then the financial institution, in turn, would contact the FTC if you went to the financial institution first. Your financial institution would then make the loan to you. And so the loans actually come from the bank, and then the bank works with the FTC, and the FTC issues that bank a guarantee. And then iBank sets aside a fund. So when the FTC notifies us that your loan's been made and the bank, and they've given a guarantee to the bank, what it really means is if something should happen in the future to your loan and your loan should go bad, iBank has set aside that money, and they will pay that lender the amount of money that is required on the guarantee. So I'll show you a couple of our success stories just to give you an idea of what types of loans that we're guaranteeing out there and what types of businesses are applying. A recent one that we featured in a media event for our 1,000th loan in our federal program was a business called Modern Twist, and they were out of Emeryville, California. This is an independent owner, Kat Norrie. And what they do at Modern Twist is they design plastic-free products. So it's a silicone-based product that Kat designed, and the item that she's holding there is called the Stasher. And it's basically a reusable sandwich baggie. So it's it's one of those perfect products. It's eco-friendly. It was a great loan that she had. We featured her in a media event where we gave the big check away for the $450,000 that she borrowed. She'd been trying to borrow from other commercial lenders, and what she was being offered just wasn't fitting. And she finally got connected with one of the FTC's Safe Bidco, and ended up obtaining not only a permanent line of credit, but also a revolving line of credit for working capital that is helping her build her business. And she was able to hire some additional employees and also produce more product. An example of a nonprofit that we were able to help was LA Kitchen. LA Kitchen came to the Los Angeles area last year. The same owner, Robert Eager, had DC Kitchen in Washington, D.C. And what his model does is it uses donated food from farms in the hospitality business. So hotels that have additional product, it's all good food products. They're donated to a culinary institute where culinary students prepare the food, and then they donate those meals to either the homeless or to low-income families. And they took out a loan for $10 million to start their operation. I'm sorry, it's a $10 million operation. The loan that they took out with us was for $2 million, and it was to do the startup for LA Kitchen and also do some tenant improvements. They created 80 jobs in the LA area. Hundreds of culinary students will be able to be employed after they go through the program. They get certifications for the hospitality industry. And their plan, just in the first year of operation, is that they're going to serve 990,000 meals. Ednovate is a school that we were able to help finance. It's also a nonprofit, and their mission is to educate students to help them get college degrees. And the school is going to teach about 450 students by the fall of 2018. They took out a loan for a little over $3 million, and it was to purchase a building for their school. It created 14 new jobs in their area. And then French Press is a coffee house in Santa Barbara. This is a partnership, and the owners, Julia and Todd, opened French Press, but they needed to expand their business, so they came to us for a $350 loan for tenant improvements and to purchase some additional equipment. And this created 15 jobs in that area as well. So I hope that gives you a really good idea of how the process works, what type of businesses we're able to help, and I'm going to go ahead and turn this back over to Janelle.
Thank you, Nancy. So this will begin the Q&A portion of our presentation. If you have a question, feel free to submit it via the questions chat box. I'll start with the first question. If a loan lender can get a loan guarantee from the state, does that mean any business qualifies and can't be turned down?
Unfortunately, it still could be turned down. So this isn't an automatic. So when we say guarantee, it doesn't mean that you're guaranteed to get a loan. What it means is it gives you a better chance of getting a loan, and you can be connected with a lender that's different than a commercial bank that has such stringent criteria or qualifications.
Thank you. Does this program ensure I will get a better interest rate on my loan?
Not necessarily. The interest rates were up there on the success stories that we gave, just to give you an idea of what those dollar amounts and those types of businesses interest rate got. But there are lenders out there that, with the guarantee, will lower the interest rate from the normal interest rate that they charge. But the program isn't designed specifically to get you low-cost money. It's designed to get you the access to the capital that you need.
Thank you. Another question. Can you talk about small business grants available through the state of California, particularly for nonprofits?
Unfortunately, I'm not familiar with all of the grant programs that are out there, and there are a good number of them. But I think through the GO-Biz portal, you would be able to find grant programs there.
Thank you. And that would be at the California Business Portal through GO-Biz, and that's at businessportal.ca.gov. Another question, are the FTCs limited to specific geographic regions?
No, they're not. Any FTC can make a loan guarantee in any part of the state, but they do have what I'm going to call a gentleman's agreement that they prefer to do business within their own area, and it just kind of makes sense if you're a small business that you would contact the FTC closest to you.
Do the loans require a personal guarantee from significant shareholders of the borrower?
That would depend on the type of loan that you're getting, and also it would depend on the lender. So if you were getting if you were purchasing a building and you were using an operating company and a holding company, then yes, most definitely you would have to have shareholder participation, but not in all circumstances.
Thank you. Where can we get a copy of the presentation? I need the address and locations of FTCs close to our office. So we will be posting the audio and the PowerPoint presentation to our website, and all registrants will be emailed once we do that. Is there a website that also lists the
yes, the iBank website also lists the FTCs under the Small Business Loan Guarantee Program, and the iBank website is www.ibank.ca.gov.
Thank you. Can you get a loan as a sole proprietor, or do you have to be an LLC, a corporation, etc.?
So sole proprietors are most definitely welcome, as long as you have a fictitious business name statement. We actually, it's a great question, because I think the 750 employees might have thrown some of you. Our average number of employees for business out of all of those 30,000 loans that we've just talked about is 4. So we do primarily cater to the very small business.
Are there any additional requirements of the borrower for the guarantee other than those mentioned?
There, the items mentioned, the types of loans and the qualifications, were a pretty broad overview. We do have some specific requirements of borrowers, but basically, if you're a business doing business in California, we have a couple of types of businesses that we're not allowed to lend to, and we also have some certifications that have to be signed saying that you're not a sex offender. Other than that, it's pretty much any business that can be found on a list of businesses in California.
Thank you. Is the guarantee only available from the FTCs that were mentioned?
Yes, that is correct. FTCs are agents of the state. They were created by the state, for the state, specifically for this program.
Will I get a better rate from one FTC to another? Are they competitive, in other words?
Oh, no, they're not competitive, and iBank is the overseer of that. FTCs play on an even, playing field. The fees for the loans are exactly the same at each FTC. However, the connections that the FTCs have with the lenders, it's the lender that dictates the rate.
Thank you. Can I have more than one loan guaranteed?
Yes, you can have more than one loan guaranteed. As you saw, Modern Twist had 2 loans. as long as the aggregate of those loans don't go over $20 million or the guarantee doesn't go over $2.5 million.
Thank you. Can I use this program to refinance a previous loan?
Yes, you can. We do have a couple of eligibility requirements. So as long as the previous loan that you're looking to refinance met all of the qualifications that we just talked about, then it could meet the qualifications to be refinanced.
Great. Can other programs be used for the non-guaranteed portion of the loan, such as, and there's an acronym here, PACE?
Oh, so we will not allow the unguaranteed portion to be guaranteed by another government agency. So we won't allow it, but if another program allows it, then that would be a question for them.
Thank you. Another question, what if my lender doesn't participate in the program?
If your lender doesn't participate, we can do one of two things. You could go to a different lender. You could check with the FTC to see if the FTC has a lender that you want to go to. You can ask your lender to participate. Your lender could either contact iBank to find out about qualifying to participate, or they could contact an FTC. And the process is relatively quick. So if you're thinking, oh, well, that might take forever, we can qualify a lender in about a day. If that lender is a CDFI, or if they are a federally chartered and insured bank in California, we have all the information at our fingertips to qualify them.
Great, thank you. I have placed much of my business debt on personal credit cards. Can this program be used to refinance that debt?
Unfortunately not. Our program can only refinance business debt. We can't refinance personal debt.
Thank you. Another question. Let's see. Would you say that this option of funding would be ideal for startups, newer businesses, or older businesses?
Absolutely. And that's what the FTC specialties are. All of those that we show that has the technical assistance. Not only can they connect you with a lender who can make the loan for a startup cost, but they can also offer you technical assistance to teach you how to write a business plan and prepare to give your presentation to the lender for your loan.
Great. If I don't pay my loan and the lender collects on the guarantee, do I ever have to pay again?
Yes. Unfortunately, this is not a grant. The purpose for the guarantee and the purpose of paying that lender off immediately if your loan should default is to give that lender the incentive to make the loan to you in the first place. But it's not a forgivable loan. So if you're a small business and you've been paying your loan for a while and then your business fails, we'll pay the lender so that they get paid immediately, but the lender will continue their collection efforts on your guarantors or you personally, whoever signed that loan. And if they collect any of that money back, they would give it back to the state.
Thank you. We have one last question. For those attendees on the line, if you have anything else to ask, please feel free to submit that in the questions chat box. So now the question, 750 employees doesn't really sound like a small business. I'm a very small business with 2 employees. Is this program right for me?
Yes. As mentioned before, I didn't mean to throw anybody off on that. It's 750 employees would include the affiliates of a business also. So that's why the number is so high. But this program is designed for the very small business. We have many owner-operator businesses with just 1 employee. The requirement is that you must have at least 1 full-time equivalent employee to qualify as a business.
Some additional questions have come in. Is 100% of the guaranteed amount set aside as a reserve?
No, it's not. We set aside 20% of the guaranteed amount so that the lender is comfortable that we always have money to pay the loans. If we set aside 100%, that would be making an assumption that 100% of the loans are going to go bad, and we know that they're not. So we've taken a very conservative view and said if 20% of the loans go bad, we will have that cash on hand to pay those lenders if they need it.
Thank you. Are there any other resources you would encourage nonprofits to investigate for capital?
Jesse and I are both, we have our thinking faces on. Without specifics of what you're really looking for, I am not sure how to answer that.
Great. This question might pertain to like if there's specific companies that are appropriate for the program. The question is, would this program help with network marketing companies?
Certainly, yeah.
Great. Well, okay, another question coming in. Great. Are there any types of industries that would not be funded through this type of loan, such as medical cannabis?
That was the one I was going to say. Yes. So even if a state approves of businesses like medical cannabis, our federal program will not allow it. So there are a couple of types of businesses that are not allowed. And so another one would be a nonprofit that is has a religious affiliation to it. So I'm going to use a religious school as an example. We would be able to make a loan for a religious school if it was, let's say it's to build a building for their high school. As long as the education criteria didn't require a Bible study, then we would be able to do that. So we have that church and state separation thing, so sometimes religious affiliates are tricky, but we can still do them. So let's go with a church that's building a daycare. No problem. That one we can do. We can do the daycare. We just can't do the actual house of worship.
Great. Well, that's the final question that we have. Thank you so much, Nancy.
Oh, thank you.
Great. Well, definitely want to say thank you to Nancy and to the Ag Bank for being part of today's presentation, for giving us such a wealth of information. Just quickly on the nonprofit question, I know there's a number of different organizations that do provide financing support. You know, of course, we wouldn't be able to necessarily endorse anyone, but just doing a quick Google search on nonprofit financing, you'll see a number of different organizations that do specialize in that arena. So just want to quickly answer that question. But this concludes our webinar. We want to thank you, Nancy, again, and to all of our, to Janelle for putting on this great webinar series. This actually marks the end of our webinar series as part of California Small Business Month. So just want to give her recognition for all the work she did to organize all these. The slides and the audio of this presentation will be posted to the GO-Biz website as mentioned, and we will notify all of our registrants by email once they are posted. But again, thank you for your time. We appreciate you being on today's webinar with us, and have a good day.